he did fit in with the Beatles image.
With Ringo, he's so cute. He just grew on people, so then he was accepted.
Once Ringo had won over the doubters, the classic Beatles lineup was in place. But gone for good were the days of the Beatles as a kind of cavern house band, playing 3 lunchtime sessions a week. As 1962 drew to an end, TV bookings were on the increase, and most crucially, a record contract had been secured with the EMI.
Love, love me do.
The Beatles were taking off.
You know I love you.
Cause for celebration at the Cavern? Well, not exactly.
So please, love me do.
If any band was going to make it, I thought it would be the Beatles. But when it happened, it was like, hang on, they're going.
Love, love me do. You know I love you.
It felt to me that they would just stay in Liverpool. I mean, nobody got a record contract in those days. You had to go to London and sing songs written by Lionel Barnes or something like that, you know, to get a record contract. So I thought the Beatles were going to be here forever.
I was aware of a reluctance of the girls to buy Love Me Do because they didn't want the Beatles to leave Liverpool.
Hang on, if we buy this, or if they get famous, they'll leave the Cavern, and what we do then?
Love, love me do. You know I love you.
But I couldn't resist. I worked over the record shop as well, so I couldn't resist, could I?
So please,
I've got a very nice signed copy of that still today.
love me do.
A lot of people were disappointed, yeah, because London had their own people, you know, like Cliff Richards and Marty Wilde. And that's all we had in Liverpool, really, the Beatles. So when there was talk about them going, you know, I just unhooked myself and went and done something else.
Some of the fans have been saying that, you know, they feel that you've deserted them. What do you feel about that?
They're mainly the ones that never came to... The people that are moaning about us not being here are people that never even came to see us when we were here. You know, we could count on our fingers the original fans we had here and the ones that really followed us.
Without the Beatles, the fans would find themselves protesting to keep the band's spiritual home alive.
So we got all the chairs, and like there was, we say the entrance there, and we just filled it with chairs.
But would it all be in vain?
Isn't that typical to knock something iconic down?
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you.
1963 saw Britain gripped by Beatlemania. As hysteria levels surged ever higher nationwide, time spent by the Beatles in their Liverpool hometown became ever more scarce. But in August 1963, a triumphant final return was planned to the place where it all began, the Cavern.
The final gig here, we couldn't get in. Packed. We could not get in the doorway. It was absolutely packed.
It was just horrendous, really. It was too full. Too full and a bit frightening.
Well, she was just 17. You know what I mean.
That was a strange night because when we were in the dressing room with the Beatles and they were sitting around all with long faces, and I remember John kept saying, you know, we shouldn't have done this, you know, we shouldn't have come back to do it. It's all going to go wrong. We went on, did our spot. It went great. We came off. Anyway, they went on, didn't they? Yeah. And with how long was it?
After one number, one number.
They did one number, and all the lights went out. Everything fused. And John was shouting, I knew we shouldn't have done it. I knew we shouldn't have come back to do this.
And they went into a little ad-lib, John and Paul. And we didn't know what it was. We thought it was an old 20s song. We only found out like 3 years later when they did Sgt. Pepper that it was when I get older, losing my hair, many years from that. They actually did it on the last gig on the Cavern.
Will you still be sending me a Valentine? Birthday greetings, bottle of wine.
We never did get them back. Despite what Brian Epstein said, he said, you shall have them again. Of course, we never got them back again.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you something. I think you'll understand.
The Beatles had outgrown their old stamping ground. The kind of fun they used to have down in the deep, dark cavern was now more likely to take place under TV lights, swapping witty lines with entertainment A-listers of the day.
The television people said, would you like to come to Manchester and do a quick interview with the Beatles?
Laugh. Every time he's down to me.
And we just started chatting about different things. I said, well, I think I'd like to have a go at this pop singer myself.
Have you no ambitions to form a group yourself?
Love to, with the boys.
Yeah.
Kenny and
well,
the
no, I mean,
Cockroaches.
Kenny and the Cockroaches.
The only thing is I'd have to change my name, you see.
I couldn't just be Ken Dodd, could I? I'd have to have a, like you're the Beatles.
I'd have to have a name like Cliff or Rock, something earthy. Well, I don't know, eh?
Cliff Dodd.
No.
Rock Dodd.
No, let's invite suggestions for an earthy name for me.
Yeah, well, what about that, fellow?
Eh?
Sod.
They were still able to be down to earth. They were still able to be for Liverpool lads.
But the Cavern success story wouldn't be just about the Beatles.
People in London had heard about you. They'd heard about the Beatles. Let's get up to Liverpool. You know, the rest is history, isn't it?
Once the floodgates had been opened, a wave of other Mersey bands would sweep all before them.
I mean, Liverpool went crazy. Beatles, number one. Us, number one. The Beatles, then us and the Sages. And it was all Liverpool in the charts, and everybody was over the moon.
Each with their own secret care. So very across the Mersey.
We were blasé, but we just accepted it. Oh, another Mersey beat band at number one.
The place I love.
This is Liverpool, this is what we do.
More and more groups from outside Liverpool were drawn to the club that made acts famous. Mancunians like the Hollies and Herman's Hermits regularly made the short journey westward. While others, like Londoners the Kinks, travelled from further afield. When the Kinks made their Cavern debut in 1964, that great English songwriter, Ray Davies, was still reliant on cover versions, like his take on Little Richard's Long Tall Sally. By the mid-60s, a pilgrimage to the Beatles' former musical home was a must for up-and-coming stars like the Kinks. But on the rare occasions that the Beatles themselves returned to Liverpool, a visit to the Cavern was no longer on the agenda. July 10th, 1964, saw Liverpool host the northern premiere of the Beatles' first feature film, and the frenzied scenes of fainting teenagers that had been sweeping the country were about to engulf their hometown.
So why on earth should I mourn? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I'll be here.
For some reason I'd forgotten that it was the premiere of Odd Day's Night, and I came up rushing up the underground steps, and I just couldn't move. There was this fantastic kind of wall, and then I realised, oh, this must be the Beatles.
Any moment now, the Beatles will be coming on the balcony.
We were going on the balcony and we were just in the room at the back and we went near, you know, to look. And my mouth fell open. I couldn't believe the amount of people in Castle Street. It was just shocking.
I was probably halfway down Castle Street. It was a hell of a crush.
Still, the casualties mount up. They've been put at about 100 by the St John ambulance men. They're falling like ninepins. Liverpool's never seen anything like this. Yes, listen to those screams.